This one is about protecting the mission itself. So if you imagine protection like a layered defense or an onion, if you like, so the most important thing in the middle and how then to protect it. So you want to protect the mission values, and one of those values might well be some form of outreach program. In order to do the outreach program, you need to have a 4x4 or some form of vehicle, and in order for you to use that vehicle, you need a set of keys. Now, in order for you to make sure that you've always got the keys, you need some form of lockable key box where you always go. So in order to protect the mission, so effectively the layered bit here is that you need some form of lockable key box. So you protect the keys to protect the 4x4 or the car, and then to protect the outreach program, which then protects the mission values if you follow what's going on. And then from that, you then just need to work through, right, how do we improve different behaviors, because you might just put the keys in random different places rather than actually just for them to actually be locked up, which then turns into habits and then culture, and then that's basically just what you've always been doing. You could get a little bit geeky about trying to work out how to do this layer defense in terms of capturing sort of a risk matrix of probability against impact, and get mega geeky. Up to you. But basically the key bit about protecting your mission is just think through, okay, what is the thing that we care about? What do we need in order to do the thing that we're caring about? And then what do we need to protect to look after the thing we need in order to look after the mission itself. So hopefully that's useful. And the next one we're going to go on to is how to protect the mission in terms of broader sort of considerations. So the compound itself. What can you do to make it harder to try and get into the particular area that you're in? These various bits of shrubbery in this example here. This is not bad. You can actually see what's going on around. If there's an awful lot of area around you, then you can't really see what's going on. You can't see who's coming and going and perhaps sneaking around. It makes it a little bit more difficult to see what's going on. Recognizing that that's not always possible, especially if you're in an urban environment. So that's where cameras and that sort of stuff might be helpful. But in either and then choose whether you want them discreetly placed so that you can keep an eye on what's going on and you're not attracting yourself because you look interesting, or alternatively you put them up as a bit of a deterrent. Also have a little bit of think about in terms of the general sort of area. You'll know who's supposed to be there, and kind of like and the normal people who sort of hang around in the general area. And you know what, if there's a pile of people that you don't recognise, or there's a pile of people who just don't seem to fit in, kind of like just keep a little bit of an eye, because they're kind of new as to why are they there, and they just keep an eye as to what's going on. Just think sort of through the bigger picture on that. When it comes to on the insides, have a little bit of think about where the weak points are in terms of, and where you perhaps need to put some locks on. So whether that's windows or doors, or through the roof access, or there's loads of different ways of getting into a particular building or a particular room, and just have a little bit of think of, what, if you were a burglar, what would you do? And the next one is in terms of thinking about how people get in and out is, what is the access? How many different ways have you got in and out of where you're at, the roads leading up to you, the ways going out. And also, that's a little bit of a pattern of life thing, just use different roads in and out just to kind of familiarize yourself, and also just don't set a pattern, and just be aware of, how people can come and to and from where you're at, and also in terms of how isolated are you? Even in an urban area you can be isolated, but in a rural area definitely can be quite isolated. How can you raise the alarm if something happens? Do you have a phone there? Is the mobile phone connection right? Can you get a radio? Do you need a sat phone? That sort of thing. How do you raise the alarm if something happens? And just think it through as to what you need to do. So basically just think like a criminal. What would you do? And also just think through, right, okay, if something did happen, how do I tell people? How do I get a bit of support? So hopefully that's a little bit of top tips on basic security. To save you writing some notes and to perhaps have a little bit of a refresher later, you feel welcome to subscribe and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so hopefully that was really helpful. And if you've got any questions, just chuck them in the comments and I'll answer them.